Hey everyone, it's Zach.
And I'm Zach's wife, Megan.
We want to talk today about personal finance for couples.
We have been married for 8 years and live in sunny San Diego, California.
As you guys know, I serve as a city clerk for the city of Escondido, California.
And I run an online gift business called Solace. One of the primary benefits to living in Southern California is the weather. So we enjoy spending a ton of time outside, hiking, biking, doing yoga, going to the beach, all of it.
Yeah, we love to go out to great restaurants, we love to shop together, and most importantly, spending time together.
Absolutely. Personal finances are really important to us though. So given that we live in a very expensive part of the world, we're diligent in saving money and not falling into lifestyle inflation.
Yeah, together we save about 50% of our income. We actually invest about 35% of that into the stock market, primarily into index funds, and then the other 15% we just save in a high interest savings account.
Millennials are facing a difficult time right now with the pandemic, stagnant wages, a lack of financial literacy even. So we believe it's important to help others learn about the importance of getting out of debt and breaking the cycle of living paycheck to paycheck.
So what we want to do in this video is talk a little bit about how we handle personal finances as a couple, a little bit about the background of what we went through to get to the place of actually having financial stability in our lives right now, and most importantly, the tools that you can use and the ways that you can approach your life right now to help you achieve your long-term financial goals. So let's take our time, dive into the details, and jump into it right now. Nearly 76% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck right now, and many people are facing crippling debt, usually associated with student loans or even consumer transactions that you've made. And that's one of the things we really had to learn in our own lives, was trying to get out of that cycle of spending money on things that we really didn't necessarily need or had the money to do so.
Absolutely. Some of the things that we would do, we would just justify by saying, well, the people around us are doing it. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's good. And there were some things that, we wish we hadn't done. We've learned from them, and we're approaching these issues differently now.
Yeah, and together we save about 50% of our income. As you guys know, I talk about this frequently, about the importance of investing in index funds, and that's actually what we do. So about 50% of our income is totally saved and invested, 35% gets invested into the stock market, the other 15% is actually saved just into high interest savings accounts.
But that wasn't always the case. At the beginning of our marriage, it was a lot to try to figure out how much do we save, how much do we spend, and at the beginning we were living paycheck to paycheck. For many couples, finances can be a really frustrating thing. It can be the cause of a lot of arguments and discomfort. So we really wanted to tackle it. We wanted to figure out how can we achieve our goals and not have it be a problem in our relationship.
Yeah, because that was really one of the driving factors behind what we do. I had to work a lot to be able to get into the position that I'm currently in. Megan has had to do a lot with her current role as well. And with that being said, we just really wanted to focus on how can we have more time together. And I thought that's an important thing for others to be aware of, because I know that stress is really associated with finances. So being able to learn a little bit as this time goes along and trying to find a way where we have this balance, where we don't allow finances to become a stress in our life, but really we see it as a tool and a resource that allows us to have more time to be able to spend with one another and just to be able to enjoy one another.
Absolutely. We want to be aware of it enough that we can make wise choices, but it doesn't need to be all-consuming.
If you're in a situation right now where you haven't invested before, or perhaps you just don't really know what to do with your finances, try and figure out a system that works well for you. What we do is automatically have our money saved and invested strategically into the stock market. We use automatic things such as Wealthfront and Acorns to do this, and we talked a lot about it before, and I think that's really important in our marriage, is that we're very transparent in how we approach this, and I just find that's helpful and healthy, because if you have only one person focus on finances or you haven't talked about it, that could be a point of contention, and also can allow people to maybe have a misinterpretation or a misunderstanding, and I think that can actually hurt relationships and marriages. I don't know, what do you think?
Absolutely. And I think it needs to be a balance, because you don't want to have too many cooks in the kitchen, so to speak. So for us, we sort of determined, okay, who's most interested in learning about finances and how to manage it well? I was not as interested in doing that. I wanted to be aware of it, but I didn't want to have to make all the decisions and maybe read all the fine print on everything. So Zach took that role, goal. And then I said, all right, let's make sure that I'm aware of things. Let's check in on this on a regular basis. But if I don't have to look on it regularly, that's great. I've got other things I'm doing. And so yeah, you've sort of taken the lead on that, but it's definitely in concert with each other. We're aware of what's going on with our finances so that we can both make good spending and saving decisions.
Yeah. And one of the things I think is important for us to be aware of is that we don't just solely want to be focused only on saving and investing and not living in the present and spending your money, because obviously money is a resource and a tool to have more time. So when it comes to spending our money, we are not so frugal in the sense where we pinch every penny, because you can be penny wise but pound foolish. And what I mean by that is, we could save money on like not buying a cup of coffee every day, but then you could get a headache during class and then that doesn't help you earn more money.
I need my coffee.
Yeah, you need your coffee, and ultimately that's not going to make a difference. But if we save, X $100 a month on, a payment for rent, or if we don't, if we just automatically have a set percentage, thousands of dollars going to the stock market.
Eat out less.
Eat out less,
like
that works out
for
too.
us.
And even that, when we eat out, we love going out to dinner, but we are relatively light eaters, so we'll like share appetizers and entrees. We just really go out for the ambiance and experience.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things that we enjoy, but I think that's so important is that we still like to spend money. And I think there's a saying, Ramit Sethi has it, it's like, spend extravagantly on things that you love, but cut mercilessly on the things that you don't. So we just don't spend money on things that we don't like or need or bring value to our life, but things that do, we spend money on it.
Oh, absolutely. We relish our opportunities to go out to eat, and we like to get gifts for each other.
Yeah.
We like to shop.
Yeah.
It's a part of the experience of life, and it makes work feel better. I know that I'm working for something that I'm going to really enjoy later. And so I think seeing the contrast of what it felt like before, when I would feel guilty about every purchase because we were in debt and I didn't know where that was going to go and how we were going to achieve our financial goals, and now contrasting that with, it feels good to spend money because we know we've worked hard for it, but we also are doing it in moderation.
Yeah. It's true. Yeah, that balance and moderation is important. And I think the key term you use there is like not feeling guilty about spending.
Yes.
And we have a guilt-free approach to it because we have a system in place for our finances. Like I talked about before, our money is automatically sent into all these different accounts, and that took work to develop that, but anyone can do it. You can have automatically money coming out of your savings account or your checking account, have it go into a group of index funds, or you can have money automatically put into your 401k or Roth IRA, or put into a high interest savings account. And once we know, no matter what happens every month, that money is getting set aside. The money we have to spend is guilt-free because we know we're being responsible with our finances long-term and still working forward on that trajectory.
And then it's just one less thing on your mind too. You don't want to have it just constantly sitting there like, oh, I need to remember to do this. Just have it happen. You have enough going on in life that you don't want to have to remember to transfer things like that. Yeah. Have it happen, and then you'll check in and your finances will look good.
Yeah, it's true. All right, so now we talked a little bit about how you save and actually invest your money. We want to talk a little bit more about how you actually make money, because I know it's always so easy to be like, oh, just save 50% of your income, or invest all this money in the stock market. But if you're living paycheck to paycheck, or you have a minimum wage job, or you're struggling financially, those things kind of seem irrelevant. So I want to talk a little bit about our story, about how we actually got to where we are, where we're running the different positions that we're in, and how the money that we actually make and what we do with it. Megan decided to start a business, and that's called Solace.
Yeah, so Solace was thought of before the pandemic and just became more and more relevant because it's specifically for people going through a hard time, whether it's sickness or the loss of a loved one or something else. These gift collections are specifically curated to help people emotionally and mentally just heal and recover, feel supported through a difficult time.
Yeah, so Megan's done a great job with Solace. It's a really incredible company, and I love supporting that as well. And one of the neat things you're going to find is that just like many millennials, we have to work multiple things. And Megan actually has multiple positions right now. In addition to Solace, she tutors students internationally and also works at her church. So want to talk a little about that?
When I was 13, my whole family moved to China. It was a great experience for me. I lived in the third biggest city in China, Guangzhou, a huge, very modern city, and I started teaching English. There was a wonderful opportunity for young English teachers, and it was a great experience. It got me thinking about how I could at least start making money from a young age. I've written curriculum for nonprofits, a couple different ones, franchise tutoring centers, actually back in China. Yeah. And then I do work at a church as a children's director, so it's good to be able to help encourage children face to face.
Yeah, so it's remarkable to see all the different work that goes into it, and also just how much needs to go into being a millennial today in our society, where you're having to get by and still try to achieve your goals and live a meaningful life. And obviously our relationship is paramount. That is what matters the most. So you might be asking yourself, how did we meet? So Megan, how did we meet?
With you being a lifelong Oceanside resident and me living all over the world, it does seem a little bit strange, but it happened to work out. I was coming back from China for university, and my family went to the church where Zack was a youth pastor, and so we met there. We met at a beach event, and ever since then you were a wonderful friend when I was at university. You'd drive up to Los Angeles to meet me, and then even fly over to China to convince me you really liked me.
As Megan mentioned, she moved back to China. Her family was doing other work there, and you were doing online university after finishing up in Los Angeles. And we got to get to know each other even more. And I flew over there and actually proposed.
On Valentine's
on
Day.
Valentine's Day. Flew back the next day to get back to work. So you got to work. That's super important. And we were
you had a wedding to finance.
Yeah, I got to finance a wedding, so I got to get on it. And and then we ended up married. 4 months later.
Yeah.
And here we are 8 years later, making this video for you guys right now. So
it's just
really
crazy.
amazing.
So that makes travel a part of our relationship from the very beginning, but that's really blossomed into a passion of ours, and something that we really work towards. When the days are difficult, we remind ourselves of past travels that we've enjoyed and future ones that we hope for, but we've already done quite a few.
We went to Phuket, which is a beautiful island, spent time there. We've been to Australia. We've also spent a good amount of time in Europe. Please tell us, I would say our favorite.
Yes, it is. Paris especially. We just love France.
Love Paris.
Can't wait to go back to Paris.
Paris is always a good idea.
Yes, it always is. And London as well. We even enjoyed the Harry Potter Broadway there.
That's right. We went to Barcelona. We went to Valencia in Spain.
Yes.
We went to Greece, Santorini, the Cinque Terre on the coastline of Italy. And then we've been to Venice. We've been to Milan.
Yes.
We've been to Rome. Rome was incredible.
It was really special for us to just be able to dive into it, get away from work completely.
Yeah.
We've done that in Mexico as well.
Mexico
That's much closer.
Yeah, I love going down there, and we love doing domestic traveling too. Been to Hawaii and obviously Florida, Sedona, Arizona is beautiful. We just love getting out and about, and I think that's one of the important things from a financial perspective is if you find the thing that you really love, just go for it and pursue it, especially if you're able to cut back on other areas, because we sacrifice in other areas and work super diligently so we have more time to go and pursue these kinds of objectives, because I just, some of the sweetest memories of our marriage is when we're able to go travel together. With all that being said, I'd like to thank you for watching the video today.
If you wouldn't mind, please tap the like button for the YouTube algorithm.
If you have any questions, please comment down below.
And subscribe. He's worth listening to again. He's got some good insights.
I appreciate it. If you do subscribe to the channel, please tap the notification bell. And we create these videos to make a positive, encouraging impact on you by encouraging you and ourselves to live lives of meaning and purpose, all while maintaining balance and moderation. If you don't mind, check us out next time. We really appreciate all the time for being here today. Love you guys. God.